Ditch this and tell me, what's the one thing you wish everyone around you knew about getting divorced? I'll go first. You get divorced because you have to. Not because it's the easy way out, but because you have to.
Well, not just about getting divorced, but breakups, right? Separations and things like that. As a woman, there is men waiting. Your vulnerability as a woman is extremely targeted. If you even shed one tear, he's going to go for your body. If you tell a man in your state of vulnerability that you are hurt, sad, upset, depressed, anything, he will take advantage of that. Even your boy best friend since pre-K of 20 years will take advantage of your divorce, of your heartbreak, of your broken and ended relationship just to get inside of you. You've been essayed, now you're vulnerable. Your father died, now you're vulnerable. Your mom had cancer, now you're vulnerable. I don't care. It's time to get nasty. Open up when you're vulnerable if you want to.
Do it, because it's better on the other side. And I'm not promoting divorce. If you've tried everything and it's still not working, and the only reason you're not leaving is because you're too scared of what people will think and too scared of doing it on your own, do it.
Okay, the audio is going to cut out on that stitch, but basically she's saying, like, what's one thing you wish people knew about getting divorced? And I could write a book on this. Now, just for context, my divorce was very, very amicable, and my ex and I are still, like, co-parent, and, like, you know, we have our moments that probably remind both of us why we got divorced in the first place, but, like, we do pretty darn good with each other. But a lot of what was going on in the decline of our marriage happened behind the closed doors. Like, my friends and family really didn't know anything about it. And because of that, when I went to them and said, hey, my marriage is ending, they were really, really blindsided. Like, really blindsided. And a lot of people asked, like, what happened? They wanted to know, like, the thing. Like, did somebody cheat? Was there alcohol? Was there abuse? Like, they wanted to know what the thing was. And the truth is, there was no thing. It was death by 1,000 cuts. So the thing that I wasn't prepared for was that, especially because they were blindsided and they really didn't see any evidence of this coming, they had their own emotional and grief responses to this loss because they had their own relationship with my ex-husband. And because of that, in some cases, it made it hard for them to, like, show up for me because they were having their own feelings and I was not prepared for that. So once I realized that was going on, it made it easier for me to, like, accept that. But in some cases, initially, it was like, why isn't this person showing up for me? And it was really because, like, because, like, they're having their own individual experience here of loss. And they needed to process it. And in that, they really couldn't show up for me the way that I was hoping they could. And I had like months of my own like emotional work and preparation before I got to the point of even telling friends and family. So, you know, they had to play catch up. But I was not aware. That wasn't on my radar. And so it took me a minute to recognize that was what was going on. So I hope you find that helpful. Again, like I said, that was not on my radar, and I wish it had been ahead of time because it would have helped me in my response to other people's response or lack thereof. But that's what I have to share. I'd say that was the most significant thing. But maybe this could be my next series because I certainly have more.
It's scary, lonely, sad, scary. And you're going to just have to rewire your brain that everything you thought adulthood would be as a parent, that you got to rewrite the happily ever after because it's not going to be the same. And that's okay. That's okay. But it takes time and grief. It's a death. It's a death of a dream you once had. And no one's showing up at your door with cookies. Let's just put it that way. So you're going to have to rewire everything, your friendships, your family relationships, yourself as a parent, all of it. Just, you're going to restart your life, restart your dreams. It's sad and so beautiful at the same time. Feel all the feels, baby. It's a marathon, not a sprint, okay?
This one is for the ladies especially. What I want to tell you is that if you get divorced, every man, every coworker you've ever had, married or not, random guys you're friends with on Facebook or Instagram, everybody will hit you up for sex. Not even joking. They see you as hurt, they see you as prey, they see you as vulnerable, and it's a hard time in your life, and they know it, and they're coming for it. I lost so much respect for men after my divorce. I was very naive before that, but not afterwards.
All right. I've never been divorced, but I've known a lot of people that have been divorced, friends and family members. And I wish that every person, before they got a divorce, was able to feel the feeling that it would be to have a stranger parenting and raising your children half of the time. I think some people absolutely have to get a divorce, and it's the best for everybody. And I think some people are very rushed to get a divorce, and they don't try to fix things, and they don't think about what it's going to feel like when your partner's future girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, spouse raises your children half the time. I wish people could feel that feeling and then make decisions based on that.
That the person you're divorcing is not the same person you married. And when I was going through mine, my father said to me, you never truly know a person until you divorce them. And I thought, that's accurate, because the man he was when I married him was not even close to the person he was when I divorced him. He asked for the divorce, and he was disgusting during the whole process. He treated me like I was a pile of garbage. And in my eyes, that's how he saw me through our entire marriage. I'm just glad I didn't spend any more time with him than what I did.
Last year, the podcast Canadaland ran an episode on divorce, and they quoted a lawyer who said to a client in their initial meeting, look, you can either divide the family assets in 2 or in 4. So the one thing that I wish everyone knew is that if it is at all possible, work it out yourselves. Because even if you win, you'll probably end up with less than you otherwise would have had, which means your kids, if you have any, will end up with less too. My ex-wife and I largely worked it out between ourselves, and I certainly didn't win, but in all likelihood, the alternative would have meant that everyone loses.
Fucking your ex-wife's friends is really easy because they're always jealous of her for being married. Not a lot of people get married lately, so baby mama, if you see this.
You don't have to deplete yourself fighting to save this marriage anymore. You don't have to go back to marital counseling one more time. You don't have to wait until the kids are out of the house. And you don't have to wait for a deal breaker boundary to be crossed to be done.
Your child's sanity matters more than an equal custody agreement. I'm a teacher, and the kids whose parents are divorced and have to be they spend Monday and Wednesday at mom's and then Tuesday, Thursday at dad's and then every other weekend. Do you know how hard it is for them to keep all their stuff straight? And then, speaking as their teacher, do you know how frustrating it is? Because, this kid's constantly turning in work late, but it's not their fault. They're the victim of their parents' divorce agreement. And, I get it. It's the modern era. We're all about, 50-50 parenting, but maybe instead of 50-50, you do something that works for your family and your kids best. I don't know. I've never been divorced. It's just a thought.
That life will be completely different than what you expected it to be after divorce. I don't think anybody can fully prepare you for how much your life changes, right? And you have to go through it to experience it. No one can tell you it's like this, it's like that. Until you go through it, you have no idea what to expect. You just have to wake up every day, be hopeful, notice the people that reach out to you, who care about you, who are breathing good into your life and bringing good into your life, and attach to those people and run with them. It's a process. There's no timeline to healing. Just take care of yourself, love on people that love you, and you're going to be okay. I promise. Light at the end of the tunnel.
When you are divorcing because you have been betrayed or the relationship is bad, not just fell out of love, but when it's bad, you get really bitter. I was super bitter during the divorce trial because he said a lot of shit that wasn't true, and every time the kids didn't want to see him, he blamed it on me, like I was brainwashing them, not that he was a douchebag that called them names and yelled a lot. It's been a year and a half. The woman he cheated on me with is living in my old house with him. I've moved on and I'm in a happy relationship, but even though he's the father of my children, at the end of the day, if he himself caught fire, I don't think I'd find it in me to pee on him to put it out. Yeah, you stay bitter when they're assholes. So get ready.
Fellow divorcee over here, and my time to shine. So the one thing I would tell someone is that you knew you should not have married that person before you signed those marriage papers. So you always knew, and now you're getting divorced. So, and you saw the red flags before you signed those papers and you ignored them. You thought that you could work it out. You thought that they would change. They never do.
Not promoting divorce, but do it. You don't get divorced because you want to, get divorced because you have to. Do it, take awesome photos, and who cares what anybody thinks. Live your best life, sis.
After the initial big feelings and the upheaval and the fog that you walk through, that you make this realization that the majority of your grief is really not about the person that you're no longer with. It's a grief for the life that you thought you were going to have, or whatever that meant to you. And so as soon as you figure it out, it's the greatest thing ever, because then you get to go and build the life that you want without anybody else's input. And it's good. It's so good.
Not your job to convince other people that you did the right thing by getting a divorce. You don't need to tell them the details. You don't need to tell them your business. You don't need to tell them what really happened behind closed doors. Because truthfully, it doesn't matter. There are going to be people that were only involved in your life because you were married to that particular person. And post-divorce, you're never going to hear from them again. Wish them well and send them on their way, and don't spend any bit of your time trying to convince other people that you did the right thing. You need to know that, and only you, and that's all that matters.
I wish that everyone knew that divorcing someone who's normal and healthy is nothing like divorcing someone with a narcissistic personality disorder. When you divorce a narcissist, that person will use your children to hurt you any chance they get. Let's say hypothetically your child has a serious health issue and you make an appointment with their doctor and the doctor pushes it months ahead of time, but it just so happens to fall on their week of visitation and they live in another state. Your spouse is going to see this as an opportunity to report to the judge that you're not allowing him to have his visitation, or her, instead of trying to work with you to pick up the child after the appointment is over. To them, it looks like green flags to get you in trouble so that they can take your kids from you. And this is going to continue to happen over and over and over again. So you're racking up a bunch of cases in court, and over time, it'll look like you're being difficult when in reality, he's trying to set you up, or she. So young ladies, I want to be your big sis and let you know, don't rush to get married, especially if they're showing signs of control, if they have ever put their hands on you, if they fall in love way too quick and they're trying to rush you away from your family. These are all red flags. It's not cute to be toxic, because the minute you become his enemy, he will do everything in his power to hurt you.